Hello, today's video we have the following content.
Xiao Zhan was cheated by Tsui Hark. The Legend of the Condor Heroes ranked first in pre-sale and last in box office, and the audience was disappointed for the same reason. Tsui Hark's The Legend of the Condor Heroes, the greatest hero, had a good pre-sale, but the box office plummeted after its release. The special effects were too strong, the plot was stiffly adapted, and Xiao Zhan's casting was not up to standard. The audience's evaluation was mixed, and the film market needs solid content and delicate production. This time, Tsui Hark's The Legend of the Condor Heroes, the greatest hero, was very successful in the pre-sale stage, but as soon as the movie was released, the style suddenly changed, the box office fell to the bottom, and the audience talked about it. To be honest, the performance of this movie is really confusing, like a big dragon in Phoenix at a martial arts conference, with a lively opening, but a whimper in the end. Let's talk about the special effects first. Director Tsui Hark has always been good at visual effects, but this time it seems to have overdone it. The duel between Guojing and Ouyang Xiu should have been the peak moment of martial arts films, but it became a bit like a fight between gods. Everyone was expecting swordplay, but they ended up seeing a screen full of fairy spirits, like taking a trip to a fairyland. The audience said that although such special effects are exquisite, they lack the passion and strength that a martial arts film should have. It's like eating a spicy hot pot without salt, and there is no sense of pleasure. Then there is the plot adaptation. Once this topic comes out, it's also a hot topic. In the original book, Genghis Khan's sentence "What is a hero?" has always been a question that makes people think about it, but the movie gives a ready-made answer: a true hero must think about the country and the people. This sounds good, but it is inevitable that it makes people feel a little stiff, like a forced ending for sublimation, and the strength is more than 1 point worse. The audience naturally didn't buy it, thinking that it was like adding a large spoonful of sugar to a bowl of hot stewed noodles, and the taste was weird. Let's talk about casting. Xiao Zhan's joining was originally a highlight, and everyone's expectations for this traffic star were not low. However, Xiao Zhan's handsome appearance is far from Guojing's simple energy, and it is difficult for the audience to get into the role. It's like inviting a pale-faced scholar to play a street ruffian, which is not right no matter how you look at it. In the final analysis, this is also because the director used the wrong person and failed to combine Xiao Zhan's characteristics with the role, and as a result, he took the big pot. The decline in box office is really distressing. Although Xiao Zhan's fans did a lot of work before the release and all kinds of publicity were overwhelming, the final decision on the box office is still in the hands of ordinary audiences. The box office dropped from the 1st in pre-sales to the 5th in the Spring Festival, and this gap also made the film company a little helpless. The audience votes with their feet, and the box office is the most real response of the market. This is like a spontaneous public opinion survey of the onlookers, and the results are not optimistic. Of course, there are also viewers who think that this movie is not useless, and some places are still worth watching. However, when it comes to movies, praise and criticism are common, and everyone has their own preferences. Watching a movie is originally for fun. Just like what you like, you don't have to care too much about what others say. In short, The Legend of the Condor Heroes, the greatest hero, is a play that makes people feel mixed emotions. Director Tsui Hark's attempt also gives us a lot of room for reflection. The competition in the film market is not only based on the star effect, but also requires solid content and delicate production. I hope that this experience will allow the director and the production team to gain some insights in future creations, just like a martial arts master honing his character so that he can shine in the next competition on January 29, 2025. Tsui Hark, who directed The Mermaid, officially launched his new film The Legend of the Condor Heroes, the greatest hero, but the feedback after the screening was really disappointing. Before the broadcast, Xiao Zhan promoted it desperately on various platforms and even won the first place in pre-sales. But you know, the final box office is the real truth. The cost of shooting this movie is not low, reaching 600 million yuan, but the current box office is in a countdown state, which is really distressing. Tsui Hark really picked up a big mess this time and lost a lot. As for why this movie is so unpopular, I really have to think about it. First of all, it may be that the script is not attractive enough, and the audience has no resonance with the plot. Secondly, although the publicity is in place, some people feel that the rhythm is too slow and there is nothing to see. In addition, Everyone has high expectations for special effects, but the result failed to make people shine, but instead became awkward special effects. So, all these reasons have led to a sharp drop in reputation, which is really helpless. The famous writer criticized this film directed by Tsui Hark so bluntly, and directly believed that Tsui Hark did not understand what the story of the Legend of the Condor Heroes series was. He also said harshly that he did not want Tsui Hark to be involved in Jin Yong's works, but Tsui Hark did not care about this advice and continued to do his own thing. Taking advantage of the fact that Mr. Jin Yong is no longer alive, no one can stop him from making this work, and now making movies is really making a lot of money. In particular, our domestic martial arts films are scarce, most of which are comedy films, or they are just figuring out emotional content. Such series of works are now in great demand in the film market, and are rarely seen. In addition, there is a classic old film to support the scene, and basically people of all ages may like it. If this movie is well made, it will definitely make a lot of money, and even if it is mediocre, at least it can recover the cost. However, Tsui Hark's work this time was really shot too badly, resulting in the current box office and word of mouth being hopeless. At that time, when the movie just started pre-sale, the situation was really different, and the momentum was also very strong. This movie rushed to the top of the pre-sale list in an instant. Everyone was optimistic about The Legend of the Condor Heroes. They thought that if it could do so well before it was officially released, the box office would definitely not be bad when it was actually released. But this scene is actually an illusion. When people are amazed, they often ignore a special group, that is, friends who like Xiao Zhan. There are really a lot of these people. So, no matter how the movie is, the fans are going to see him in their hearts. That's why the movie was praised so highly at the beginning. In fact, no matter how well Tsui Hark shoots, there is no way to change this fact. In fact, those fans don't care much about the trivial things on the satellite. They are concerned about Xiao Zhan's handsomeness. But to be honest, this illusion can't last long. After all, compared with those who don't feel anything, these friends who are obsessed with Xiao Zhan are really nothing. In the end, who says what is the key to the evaluation? After the movie was released, the reputation began to take a sharp turn for the worse, and it was really a mess. Look, under Tsui Hark's lens, Guo Jing and Wang Rong hold hands tightly, but behind them are a bunch of thousands of troops with 50-cent special effects. What is going on? Do they want to show that they are brave? As a result, it looks very unreal, which is really speechless. The enemy intends to attack the city, which is not easy to deal with. However, Guo Jing and Wang Rong are just two people, standing there and saying a few threatening words, and as a result, all those who are preparing to attack ran away, which is really ridiculous. Such a plot is really unreliable. The director's expression this time is really not well thought out, which makes people feel a little outrageous. Oh, I say there are too many slots, which can make people laugh to death. Every scene makes people laugh, it's really 1,000 twists and turns, it's simply outrageous. What can I say? The plot development is like a revolving lantern, which makes people angry and laugh. But it's really hard to figure it out after watching it. The director's imagination is also big enough. Apart from anything else, there are really a lot of slots. For example, the two of them were chasing each other on horseback on the grassland. The slow motion and the beautiful music made people think they were watching a love-hate drama in ancient costumes. The chivalrous decisions of Jin Yong, who resolutely refused to get married, turned into a bloody love triangle of the Mongolian princess and the Central Plains chivalrous woman fighting for a man in the movie. I couldn't believe it. To be honest, when the movie was first promoted, there was no mention of love stories, but the elements of fighting and martial arts were emphasized. As a result, there were very few fighting scenes, but the love scenes occupied a lot of space. Look, when Wang Rong combed her childish hairstyle neatly, it was really funny. To be honest, when the movie was first promoted, there was no mention of love stories, but the fighting and martial arts scenes were emphasized. As a result, there were very few fighting scenes, but the love scenes occupied a lot of space. Look, when Wang Rong combed her childish hairstyle neatly, it was really funny. To be honest, when the movie was first promoted, there was no mention of love stories, but the fighting and martial arts scenes were emphasized. As a result, there were very few fighting scenes, but the love scenes occupied a lot of space. Look, when Wang Rong combed her childish hairstyle neatly, it was really funny. Then she held a small dagger and threatened the generals guarding the city without fear. It really made people feel like watching a scene from an anti-Japanese drama. The most frustrating thing is Tsui Hark's random adaptation of the hero, which is simply incomprehensible. Originally, this scene was the most critical. If it was performed well, it should have moved people to tears. This should have been a highlight moment in the movie, but it was simplified to a funny scene where Guojin could scare away the enemy by shouting alone. What's even more outrageous is that this hero did not show his strength to resist the enemies at all. He actually scared away an entire army with just a threatening word. It's really ridiculous.
Thank you for watching the video. If this is your first time watching a video, please subscribe to the channel, like and leave your comments to help us develop your channel.